Welcome back everyone, and Nikon Zf. What a piece of kit. Okay, so I've had this now for a couple of days, and yes, I've read the manual and I've looked at every menu option and everything else to see. There are videos I've done on all the menus and everything else, and I've been through and looked, and this is my first impressions after a couple of days, and I've split it into various sections. Things that I wish were on here at the start, because there's not much, so hey ho. Things that I've noticed about the camera, photo mode things on there and video mode things onto there. And obviously I'm going to do more in-depth reviews on each of the different bits that go into this. But this is an overview review for you. So I've got my notes here because I'm never going to remember all this stuff. There's just way too much. First off, it's a great looking camera. Yes, it's on the heavy side because of the amount of kit that's in it, but it feels good in your hand, whereas the ZFC was like a toy, and it's still great for street photography and I'll still keep using it for that. This is a professional camera pretty much, although it's probably not in their professional lineup, but we've got weather sealing on it. We've got full weather sealing, which to me, that says pro, because it means I can use it in any environment, and I will be using this for landscapes, and I'll explain why a bit later on as well. So as that side of it, I love the black and white mode in it. The black and white they've selected, I normally go for graphite and go for really punchy black and white, and I've tweaked it a little bit in all fairness. It's not just the normal graphite that Nikon do, I've done a little bit extra to it, but actually they give you 3 options in monochrome, and fair play, I sort of like them. So things that annoyed me a little bit: no charger in the box, so it's charged via USB-C only. Just a pain a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a deal breaker. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I've got the chargers from other cameras, the Z8s, the D50, Z5s, things like that. So they all use the same batteries. So it's not the end of the world, but yeah, it might be a bit of a pain for you guys. We've got the C button on the ISO switch at the top here, and I wish that you could set it that would just go into auto ISO mode, as it happens, or not, so you could have a choice, but I wish that was a choice in the menu options. As it happens with that, there's a workaround, and I'll come to that when we get to the photo section. What else? Oh yeah, I just wish I could have a different shooting folder for photo and video. When you alter it in the menu for photo, it alters it for video as well. I'd just like to split the two because I do both. So it'd be really nice to have them separated. But that's a minor point. And that's it. That's my minor points out the way. So, wow, that's pretty impressive for a camera, in all fairness, first off. So let's have a look at the things that I really like about this. And these are the things that I've noticed straight away. So one thing I've noticed, but I haven't found any documentation on it anywhere, the shutter release button at the top there, it's got like a screw thread into it, and it looks like it's the old style remote release that you used to have, which had a little rod that came out when you pressed it there and it poked the shutter release down. I'm hoping that's still weather sealed. They say it's fully weather sealed, so I can't imagine they missed it. But yes, so I would expect to see a rise in popularity maybe of those. In reality, I use the timer now rather than the shutter release, but hey ho, it's retro, they've included it. I'm quite impressed by that. Micro SD for a backup card, really love that as an addition. Obviously with all the Pro kit, we've always got 2 cards, whether it's a QXD and an SD, whether it's SD, but you know what? We stick a massive card in there and we don't take it out. It just stays in there because it's a backup. It's exactly what it's for. Unless we've run out of space on a job and we've forgot some extra cards. Happens occasionally. So I like the fact it's a micro SD. I've literally got it backing up as a duplicate copy, but you could just have it in JPEGs or something as a safety net Yeah, superb. Great idea. Well done, Nikon. Weather sealing I've covered that I've noticed. The other thing that I've noticed in the menu, and I've not seen this before, but you've got the option to wirelessly connect up to 10 cameras. So another 9 extra cameras, where they're all linked together on its own little Wi-Fi, and I can trigger from here all the others to go off at the same time or different times, etc. That's really neat. Although I've got no intention of buying another 9 of these. I like the idea. I like the flexibility that we've got something like that into there. So well done. Nice. Photo mode. Let's go into the things that I like about photo mode that I've seen onto this. The high speed shooting of 30 frames per second. Now you can only do about 4 seconds, I think it is, of that. But that's video quality. How amazing is that? That you can capture 30 frames in a second. I'm going to test that out in certain circumstances. I might go to a track day or something and capture a few bits and see how good that is in reality, but impressed. We've still got the view mode. I think it's D9 on the menu system, which basically lets you see when the screen or whatever you're photographing is really dark. It brightens it up so you can check your composition and everything else and subject, and that's quite nice. They've renamed it to something else now, but it's still on the same menu option. Love that. What else we got? We got 8-stop VR now, and it's also linked to the focus point as well if you want it to be. I haven't played with it just yet. I mean, I've done a little bit of experimenting with it and pretty impressed so far, but I haven't done a proper test on it. I will do a separate video onto that, but really liking that. That C setting that I was on about on the top, I shoot in manual mode all the time. Now, if you're shooting in auto mode, that C setting is just going to go into auto, ISO, and you're going to be really happy. If you shoot in manual mode, like I do all the time because I want to be in control, what I've had to do is replace the front function button. And what I've done is I've replaced that and the back roll bar to alter my ISO. So when it's on C, I can change from 100, 200, 400, 800, whatever the ISO is that I need to change, I can just rotate that round and do it on the fly while I'm in camera looking through the eyepiece. That's a really useful feature. I have a separate button on the Pro cameras for ISO, makes it really easy. It's nice that I've got that flexibility, but that's my workaround for it. And I'm happy with that. As I said before, I'd just like that to have the option to go onto auto as well. What else we got? High shutter speed, and that's for your frames, just generally anyway. And I've sort of covered that. We got the 30, but we can do 15 in all the high-res stuff, which is nice. Pre-release capture, how cool is this? And I've got to test this and play with it. But basically, it's going to start capturing before you press the shutter button, just so you don't miss it. And you can turn that on or off in the menus. I don't know how much of a drain that's going to be on the battery. I've got it off at the moment, but when I go into a shoot, I will put it on and see how it drains the battery. Do a portrait or something shoot and test that out and see where we go with that. Tracking for planes, birds, cars, people, pets. It's all separated out now, and I love the fact that they've done that because, yeah, if I'm going to go and do a track day, I want to do that. If I'm into planes, blooming brilliant. It's just going to track it as it goes across, which is exactly what you want on the focus. So well done. I like that. Custom autofocus area, you can define your own areas within the frame as well. Could be useful, especially in video where we've got a set scene and we don't want people in the background to be captured in focus, but the foreground people we do. That's quite nice being able to do that. So we'll have a little play with that, but that might take a while before I get round to that one. What else we got? Monochrome setup. Yes, so if we put it into monochrome mode on the switch, we can literally have 3 different monochrome versions and we set which one we want. I was a bit miffed that I couldn't alter those at first, but the ones they've chose are amazing. So well done. Yeah, superb. Softened skin, that's a new option that I've seen into there. Some of these are in the video as well as photo. I haven't played with softened skin yet. I'll go and do a portrait shoot or something outside and test it and see what it's like. Yeah, wow, we're getting like mobile phones. Let's see how well that does. Save me a bit of time in Photoshop maybe. What else we got? We got soften skin. That does the skin tone, so I assume that's going to, depending what your room overall tone is, it might alter that to make it more realistic as skin. And again, that's portrait balance, sorry. Again, we'll have a look at that and see into that. Diffraction compensation, haven't tried it yet. I've got it on by default. I normally do it in Lightroom, so it'll be interesting to see how that reacts over, how good it is. It's very rare I notice it, but obviously I have it on by default anyway in Lightroom for all new imported photos. Yeah, I think these guys are going to spend a lot of time getting that right over the software that's in Lightroom. Could be wrong, but this is their reputation on the line, so they're going to take it to that next level. Deleting of photos can now delete both on both cards at the same time, which I love that, because so often I delete an image and I've got to go and delete it off the other card, or I ignore it and I wonder why I've got a difference at the end. Yeah, nice touch. And you can turn that on or off as well. The focus shift shooting's the same as what was on the Nikon Zf. I use that all the time for the macro stuff. Love that. But what is new is pixel shift, and I've tested this out, and only in the studio here and just done a little test shot, and wow, I was just blown away. Obviously it's not going to work on moving subjects very well. It's only going to really work on static subjects. It might work on a building, etc. I'm going to go and test this and see how it works with like birds flying past and everything else. And you do have to put it together in the NX software as well, so you have to take that set and put it together. As far as I've seen so far, it doesn't create a separate set. You've got to remember where they were. I've got to work on that. There's got to be an easier way of that, because it gets very confusing in your card. It was easy when I did it because I hadn't got anything else on the card. I knew exactly what it was. But yeah, it doesn't auto recognize it as a set. You've got to convert that somehow. But the quality, amazing, lovely. So yeah, that's all of that. There's a pixel mapping that I've got to look into, and I believe you need to use NX for that, but I could be wrong. And I need to work that out, but that's a little option that's come into here that I hadn't seen before. What have we got? Video. So video, 60 frames at 4K. That's pretty decent. You know, I can get a nice little bit of slow motion into that, which is just works really, really well. I love the fact now we can film in 8-bit or 10-bit in camera. I don't have to do it via an external recorder like an Atmos. I can do it in, so now I can do SDR, HLG and N-Log. Brilliant. So gives you more options for color grading. Appreciate it's not going to be suitable for everyone, but actually it's, yeah, I mean, I shoot in flat anyway because I want that flexibility of doing that. I've got even more now. We've got the N-Log and we've got the 10-bit on it as well. So looking forward to playing with that and shooting with that. Although this isn't my daily vlog camera, and at the moment I'm using the Z30, so I'm not really going to see it on that. So yeah, but when I'm out and about doing landscapes and I want to take some video, that's what I'm going to use. So that'll be quite interesting. What have we got? Video record length, 125 minutes. Great, happy with that. That's really good. Like the Z30, it just keeps going. Again, don't know how much of that I'm going to use on this particular camera, but you might. Time codability. I love this time codability. They finally added it in, and obviously to go with the 10-bit and the N-Log and everything else. Yes, so now we can sync all the cameras together if I use this in a work environment, and it's just going to be really easy. I'm not going to use it on general because this is the only camera in the YouTube setup that I've got which will use time log. The Z30 won't, the ZFC won't, the Z50 won't. So yeah, but at work where we've got Z8s and everything else, and we've got the Atmos and the timecode and everything else into those, then yes, that's going to be a difference. Again, we got the softened skin and we got the portrait balance. I need to play with those and have a look at those in this. And we've got the DX crop on 4K filming, when it's 60 frames, 50 frames. We've got full sampling from 6K when it goes to the 30 frames and 25 frames into there. And I can't remember what it was for the 1080. So there is a bit of a crop in there for some of the larger ones, which I get, that's fine. It's not the end of the world to me. There's more than enough space there, but something to bear in mind that it is cropping on certain modes. And that is all of the little features that I've seen that's extra to a normal Nikon. So this isn't like, I'm not covering every single feature into this. This is the key things that I really, really like that they've added to this, which is nice. The fact they partnered with SmallRig and they've done the grip, it needs the grip. I would hate to use this without the grip. It's a heavy camera. I hold it like that. I feel safe and secure with that. Otherwise, it's going to go out my hand at some point. So that's a real must. So kudos for them for partnering with SmallRig. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful camera. And I think if you're looking for this and it's got the features that you want and it's within your price bracket, you're going to absolutely love it. For the money and for what you get, yes, you could go on to a Z8 or something else, but you're going to pay a hell of a price to get to there. And the features that are in this, you're going to be really happy with, really happy. So that's the first couple of days impression. Obviously, I'm going to go away and play on this and take certain bits like the pixel shifting and everything else and do a separate video onto those. If there's any bits you want me to look at, put them in the comments down below. If I didn't answer a question that you wanted, put it in the comments down below and I'll try and answer that for you. I'm normally pretty good at getting back. Appreciate a like and subscribe. Be good to see you around here again. Nice little community we have here. See you on the next one.